everybody, so I've got a couple of new things to show you today, starting with this foundation from Dolce Gabbana, which I'll be trying on for you. I've also got a wear test of this because I have worn this before and I have some thoughts on that. I've also got the Sugar and Spice palettes from Anastasia Beverly, so I've got swatches of these and 2 looks with each palette for you. And I've got 2 of the brand new RMS Lip Oils. These have literally just arrived here for me today, so I cannot wait to show you these. I will swatch both of them and try one of them on for you today. So lots of new things to look at today. I cannot wait to get started. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 47. I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I review the latest products, show you some of my favourite looks and give you any beauty news I think you'd be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy this sort of content, I'd love it so very much if you did subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. It's so very, very helpful to my channel if you do that. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very, very much for returning. You know I appreciate you all. And my skin tone, I've got fair to light skin with neutral undertones, and I've got combination skin that's mostly dry with a slightly oily T-zone. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get on with this video. So moving straight into the foundation, I've got my base on, Bobbi Brown base, which I've been sticking to, and my usual skincare. So I've got my vitamin C, my SPF, and then my Bobbi Brown. So I'm all ready to go. And let's look at the bottle, because I think this bottle is absolutely stunning. I love this. I love hearts. So I had to get this, not just for that, but I have to admit that did lure me in. It really did. Isn't it beautiful? So some information on this product, it cost me £49 and it says it has a life-proof formula offering a full coverage, flawless finish, 24-hour long wear, no transfer. Designed with a skin-loving touch, provides a blurring and smoothing effect with all-day shine that ensures complexion perfection with a 3D matte seamless result. Available in 40 inclusive shades, it caters to everyone and to every skin with easy to navigate options for the ultimate everlasting confidence. The Everlast foundation comes in a beautiful glass bottle, which it certainly does, and a gold cap sealed by the iconic Dolce & Gabbana Sacred Heart. So gorgeous packaging, it really is. So the big things to look out for here is long wear. 24 hours I would never test, about 8 to 10 hours is pretty much how long I test these for. All day shine control, waterproof, blurring and smoothing, and not cracking on the skin and breaking up. This is also non-comedogenic, by the way. It also contains SPF 20. This is a vegan formula and it has Italian prickly pear in this, which is known to enhance the appearance of skin firmness, and Sicilian avocado for deep moisturization, and Italian pomegranate to help shield the skin from environmental stresses. So this is full of all sorts of goodies, and with it being a matte and with me having mostly dry skin, I often worry about mattes. I do tend to prefer going for the more glowy moisturizing foundations, rather like satin is probably my favorite finish, but I do wear mattes and I do get on very well with some of them, and I do prefer a matte when I really want that secure look that's going to last and lock in. And sometimes if you just want a more polished look, because matte does give you that more polished look, so it's more of an evening special occasion sort of foundation for me. But I know if you've got oily skin, matte can be your favorite. So on me, that's how I choose to wear matte, so I do like to keep them in my collection. So I've actually already tried this and done my wear test, so I like to play that for you first so we can see if it's still working as well as it did then. So here is my check-in video. So I'm here with my evening check-in for this brand new Dolce Gabbana foundation. So this has been on my face for nearly 9 hours now, so it has worn exceptionally well, I have to say. It really went through it today because I was trying on all sorts of different things for short videos, and I ended up getting a lot of glitter. This is actually the ABH Spice eyeshadow palette, which I'll be showing you in this video, I believe. If I don't, please ignore me. I think I will. Anyway, when I applied the gold, which was the only problem powder in that for me, it did actually go down my cheek to the point where I knew I had to do something about it. So I actually took a wipe, removed my foundation and just put some back on. Now with a new foundation that can be really dodgy because you've removed basically the primer and everything that's making it sit well, but it went straight in with a sponge, perfectly. Even over the areas where I had powder, I was able to just dot it in, which means for me it's a fantastic foundation. There's some foundations that just will not let me do that. This one let me do it very, very easily. I've only got a light coat on. I didn't really layer this up, so this is a very light layer applied with a sponge, which I think is my preferred application already because it's so thick. But it is sat nicely all day. I had a soup today, and as per usual, it went down my chin. I don't think I can eat without being messy, honestly. You're just gonna have to accept me for that because that's me. But with the soup on my chin, I don't think it's all gone. It maybe has slightly, but it has not all gone. So the only thing I would say looking in the magnification mirror is a little bit of caking around here. This seems to be my driest part of my face all year round, especially now as we're moving into the cooler weather. So with the heating on, where I have dryness, it's just getting worse. So this is happening with pretty much every foundation. I would actually say it's happening less with this one than with many I've tried. It's not better than something like, for instance, the Dior one, which is so good with my skin. That's one of my top ones lately. But it's a very, very good foundation considering I'm predominantly dry skinned and we're in this sort of environment where the heating's on. So I've also got my tretinoin in, and I haven't lowered my tretinoin use. I'm still on 6 days a week. I'm taking 1 day off a week, which is what I did throughout the summer. I'm on the high dose, the second highest dose. So I haven't gone back up to the 0.1. I'm on the 0.05 if you know about tretinoin. But that is quite a high dose for 5 days a week. So with all that in mind, a matte foundation in the cooler weather with heating on, I think it's done very well. There's definitely no grease coming through. I didn't put any setting spray down, that's worth noting. I did powder, mostly in the T-zone. I didn't really powder out here actually, I left it and it's still absolutely fine. I was going to check actually, I mean it's obviously the end of the day, but are we seeing any transfer in the areas where I didn't powder? So if I had a different colour jumper on, is it transferring? There's absolutely nothing here. So when I apply it on camera, I will actually do a transfer test, obviously closer to the time. But yeah, so if I had a different colour turtleneck, polo neck on, whatever you want to call it, it would not be transferring by the looks of it. So that's very good. But yeah, very, very pleased. I'll just come up closer. All in all, extremely happy with this, and today I used the Merit primer. I used my standard vitamin C and I used my standard SPF. So I didn't try to change my skincare. I went in with my usual skincare routine. I either lately use the Merit primer as it's moisturising, or I use the Bobbi Brown one. So I'm looking for a lot of moisture. So I used the Merit today. And I don't have to change anything. I even changed the concealer. I actually got 3 concealers on today because I'm testing and playing around with things. So it really has been challenged to the fullest. It's accepted all the concealers. I used a cream contour, it accepted that. It's just everything has worked with it. So it's an absolute thumbs up for this. Very, very versatile, flexible formula and working for me on dry skin. So hopefully when I'm showing this to you today, it's working as well as it has for me today. But for my first day, first impression, first check-in, absolutely brilliant. And obviously if we are looking at these eyeshadow palettes from Anastasia Beverly Hills, worth looking at these. I'm wearing no eyeshadow primer and there's been zero movement whatsoever. They literally look exactly the same as they did this morning. They haven't moved at all. Maybe a little bit of glitter there, mostly because I'm guilty of doing this during the day, not because it's fallen down on its own. Even though this gold one, I would not apply it I would not apply it when you've got a base on. Definitely do eyes first, but apart from that, it's really lasted very, very well. Look at that. Very well. So thumbs up for everything I've tried on today actually. Anyway, back to today. So as you can see, it was very successful. So now I'm going to go straight in with 1 pump of this. I'll show you exactly how this looks. It is very, very thick. It does not budge when I put it on my hand, which is why I'll be applying this with a sponge because it is so thick. So I've got the shade 5N. It actually says on the bottom of the bottle, it's moved there a bit as my hands warmed up. It actually says on the bottle 0.5N, but on the website and in the picture, which I've shown here, it actually says 5N. So I've gone for that because the very lightest shade in the entire collection was 1N. So that was the first neutral. And I do tend to find lately, if I go for the complete lightest, it's too light. So I went 1 up. But looking at this, it does look a little bit warm, but I fear that if I'd have gone for the other one, it would have been too light. So possibly somewhere in between. But I'm not too unhappy with this, having tried it. I would rather it be a bit too warm personally. I know some people prefer it the other way around, so you can just warm it up. But I find that when I get really light foundations that aren't quite right, that it just seems to look a bit more cakey on me. I don't know if anyone else finds that, but for me personally, it seems to sit better when it's a bit darker. So that's what I've started doing lately, which means I've changed my foundation colours a bit again, but I'm slightly leaning towards the warmer of the neutrals. If the first one is the lightest in the collection. So anyway, I've tapped my sponge into my hand here, and now I'm going to start applying. I'll start this side actually. And the reason I use a sponge is I just find sponges tend to apply thicker foundations better for me. So if you saw me applying the one size, you would have seen me struggling a little bit with the sponge, even though they recommend the sponge, because the sponge is moving the product around the face. That's not happening with this one, it's just going straight in. So you can see from my check-in video, I was very happy with this, but I wasn't just happy with the finish of it, I was happy with the application because it's so easy. It is one of these that just goes straight on, with no problems, no arguing with anything, and it's just very, very easy. It likes the sponge, it just gets absorbed straight away, it gives a very smooth finish very, very quickly. Obviously the downside to using a sponge is the sponge does absorb the product, so I have had to just go in for a second pump. You can see more full coverage going here on my forehead because I actually put a bit more on the sponge. I will be doing the same on my cheeks now, so it's more like the full coverage here on my forehead, and I'd say it's more medium here on my cheeks at the moment. But look how smooth it is, and look how skin-like it is. I think it is, for a matte, this is really, really good. So if you're somebody with dry skin who shies away from mattes, this could be a really good one to try. And I do think you need to have a very hydrating base before you start. I think that's crucial. And don't apply too much to your really dry areas, which for me is here, because that's when it starts to cake and go wrong. But this one works very nicely. I think the ingredients in this are definitely helping a lot by making it feel quite moisturizing actually, and not too dry. So it is quite thick, but it still feels comfortable and it feels like a nice skincare. Literally just taking that much more, so it's more like a third of a pump probably, and that will be enough for me to just finish off here. I wouldn't necessarily want to do this, I just want to show you. I'm quite happy with the coverage I've got here, but I just want to show you how it looks when you build it up, and also how buildable it is and how easy to build it is. So you can see it looks a bit warm on my complexion, but like I said, once I add a bit of concealer, that will look fine. But for me, the priority is not having that sort of cakiness, which I think the lightest from this would have given me. So this is how I just prefer it now. And that's it, I don't need to do anything else. It's just gone in like an absolute dream. Look at the finish this has given. This has such a good chance of taking my #1 spot for matte foundation. That is how impressed I am with this foundation so far. Obviously early days, but I was thinking the other day about my top 5 video. I'm going to do a top 5. I'm starting to think about them now towards the end of the year. So top 5 foundations. And I thought this one has got a good shout, you know, for being in that top 5. That's how much I like it. So here it is up close. So I'll go in now with my contour. I'm going to use a cream contour, cream bronze and concealer, and I'll be back to show you how it's all looking then before I powder. So I've put the rest of all my face products on now, all creams. The only thing I've set is my concealer. So this is how it's looking with cream bronzer, contour and cream blush. So they've all sat on top of this absolutely perfectly. Nothing is moved, nothing's been interrupted. It really does work very well. And this also shows that you don't have to, with a matte, have no shine whatsoever, because look how much shine I've currently got with these creams on top. So that just shows how this can give you that really good coverage, and I'd say it does take you up to full coverage, and it can give you that perfected finish, but you can still get quite a natural effect by applying cream products, and also because it's not overly drying and it does really look like skin. I think that this is a fantastic matte, I really do. So I've got my Makeup by Mario powder, and I'm just going to set the T-zone and see how it looks. I'm using the Nikki LaRose N14 brush. I did put a link up on my community tab yesterday, I think, letting you know that these are all available, by the way, as individual brushes. Originally the Nikki LaRose only came in the set, so this would be one of my top recommendations if you were going to go for any of the brushes individually from BK Beauty and the Nikki LaRose collection, because this one is so good for this and for putting the powder around the eyes. It's just perfect for it, it really is. So that's the T-zone set, and I think I might just leave everything else to have that sort of natural glow. I'll see how I feel at the end, but I think I'm going to leave it because I quite like the fact I've got that matte finish, but I've still got a glow. So the one area I haven't added extra product is here. So I've got a tissue so I can do a transfer check. Now you saw in my wear test the transfer check was very good, but that was at the end of the day, and there's a little bit on the tissue actually. Look, I'll try it on this side here. Yeah, getting a bit more again. So not fully transfer proof for me, I'm afraid. So that's a shame. But it was, but as it settled in, it became transfer proof. So maybe I'll check it again at the end of this video. So I will get another tissue out to remind me to do that. So now moving on to the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palettes, the Sugar and Spice. I've got a swatch video of both of these, so I'll play that here for you now. So some information about these. These have launched in the US and the UK for definite. I think they actually sold out in the UK, but possibly Spice is still available, maybe Sugar has sold out, but hopefully they'll restock, so keep checking. They're obviously very popular, and in the US I think they've still got some stock, but I'm not sure on Sugar. Sugar is the really popular one. So these cost $29 or £29. They're described as an essential mini eyeshadow collection featuring 9 full pigment shades, from cool toned neutrals to icy pastels in matte and metallic finishes. And the ingredient callouts on these, they are free of parabens, phthalates, I never know if I'm saying that right, mineral oil, and they contain less than 1% synthetic fragrance, and they're also cruelty free. So I've already created 2 looks with the Spice palette, so I'll play that video for you now. So I wasn't disappointed with this. I love Anastasia Beverly Hills formulas. I pretty much collect every eyeshadow palette from Anastasia. They are one of my absolute top, up there with Natasha Denona. I love them. I wasn't disappointed at all. I thought that they were fantastic. Just one word of warning is this middle one here. This one is B2. This is Sparkling Foiled Crystal Gold with a green shift. Absolutely stunning. But this one has a lot of fallout. You can probably tell. So you do need to be very careful with this one. So either apply with a lot of caution, or definitely I think it's best if you don't have your base on first. So if we have one like that now in the Sugar palette, I will just have to deal with it because I've got cream sitting here, so it's going to go straight into the cream. So now I'm going to try two different looks, one on each eye with the Sugar palette. But before I do that, a few people, including me, have been wondering whether this has some crossovers with the Cosmos palette. The Cosmos palette, by the way, was my palette of the summer last year. Absolutely love it. Here it is. It's in a complete mess because I have used this so much. So I can't even try and tidy this up. One of the problems with this though is that these did arrive a little bit crumbled. They were so crumbly. They did actually send me another one, but it wasn't actually an issue. They sent me another one, so I've now got two, so I'm not unhappy about that. But I was able to push the powders in, but this one in particular crumbled a lot, and this is probably my favourite in the whole palette. This one is called Super Cluster. So I'm going to compare this to the blue in the Sugar palette. So here is Super Cluster. So it's quite a light, shiny blue with a bit of a second colour showing in that and a bit of a shift. And this is the blue in Sugar. So they're not the same, definitely. They are very different. This one's more of a greeny sort of mint than a blue, really, isn't it? And then we've got Orion from the Cosmos, which is slightly pinky gold. This is Orion from Cosmos. And this is the pink from Sugar. So they are not alike. They do look a bit alike in the pan, but when you see them swatched, they are not alike at all. There's definitely a lot more pigment and a lot more specific colour, because I think with Cosmos, they're a lot more shifty and they're just very different. They are gorgeous though, trust me. And I'm swatching Supernova, which is in Cosmos, which is a sort of purpley shade, and I'm going to compare that to the lilac-y purple in Sugar. So this is the one from Sugar and this is the one from Cosmos. I think straight away Cosmos is more impressive generally. For me, I just think they are incredible. But we shall see when we get Sugar on the eyes. And there's only one matte that looks slightly similar between the two. So this one is from Cosmos, this is Space Dust, and this is the matte that's slightly similar in the Sugar palette. So again, very different. So you are not getting a repeat of Cosmos, which is really good news if you've already got Cosmos. Bad news if you didn't want to spend any money and you love ABH. So I'm going to start with A1, which is a matte nude. Quite a bit of kickback, so be careful. Matte nude pink this is, and I'm using my Refa 01. So this is going to be a very, very light sort of base shade. I'm going to put this into the crease, above the crease, outer V, just laying it down really. You can't see much at all with that. So this one's going to be very good for cleaning up really at the end and softening out edges. Not doing an awful lot as a base. But if you wanted to set your lid, I've already set mine actually, but this would be a good shade to use to set your lid. And I'm going to go into this one with my Refa 15 Mini. This is A2, which is a matte taupe, but it does say it has a bit of sparkle in it. A matte taupe beige with sparkling reflex. So we'll see if we can see those now as I apply this. Blending out quite well so far. It's not a sort of instant blend like you get with Natasha Denona, but still a little bit of work, not too much. Definitely the mattes in ABH don't match up to the top brands, I'd say. It's the sparkles for me. I love the sparkly shades. But the mattes are good, they're not bad, they're certainly not enough to put me off them at all. Can you see any sparkle in that shade? I can't see any sparkly reflex. Maybe it'll pick up on camera. For me right now, I can't see it. which is not a bad thing. I don't particularly need sparkle for this area. But strange it's described as having them if it's not there. On this side, I'm going to take that first shade because I want to try the other matte, which also says it has sparkling reflex in, but it's that deeper shade of brown. So I'll apply that now so we can see the difference between the two, because in the pan I can see the sparkles on the third shade. So this is just A1 now, the base shade going into the crease. So this is that third one with sparkly reflex, which you can see, look, in the pan, but I couldn't see them in this one. So this is a matte greyish brown and it looks a lot deeper in the actual pan. And this one is blending out a bit more easily actually. I don't think they're supposed to be different formulas, but that feels very different. That blended out extremely quickly. This one probably took twice the amount of time to blend. And on the other side, I'm running that A2 lighter brown underneath here. And with the Refa 14 Mini, I'm going back into that A1 now to just soften up the top of the edges. This is matte taupe and this is the greyish brown. So I'm going to start with this lilac, which is, so this is C1, a metallic icy purple with sparkly reflex. And that's a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Look at that. I'm being careful, trying to avoid fallout. I've had no fallout from the matte, so that's really good. And this doesn't look like a particularly crumbly shade, so it's looking good so far. That is a beautiful, beautiful colour, isn't it? Love that. So when I say I don't like purples, I love lilacs. That is gorgeous. Love it. I would happily have that one all over the lid, but I do want to show you all the shades in this, so I'm going to move straight to the pink. So the pink is B2, and this one is described as a sparkling pink with duochrome reflex. So this could be the messier of the two. Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it? ABH never ever disappoints when it comes to these. She really, really doesn't. Look at that. Wow. That is absolutely stunning. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And no fallout, touch wood. I'm going to take a bit of this pink now on my BK207 and see if I can just bring it here into the corner. I don't want a lot because it's very reflective. Just a little touch. And I'm going to risk a little bit here as well, just a tiny bit under the brow, because it is a bit too pinky for that, but I do like to continue the sparkle and add brightness up there. And now using my liner Refa brush 23, I'm going to go into this one here. This is C2, a matte deep purple with pink reflex, and I'm going to use this to try to line, hopefully without too much fallout. Now this could be used as well to deepen up the outer V, but I want to keep this as a light look, so I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to line here and bring it up for a bit of a wing. Definitely working for that. If you wanted to use this shade to deepen up and sort of smoke out the outer V, I think it would work. I'm getting quite a bit of depth there using it as a liner. And taking it across here as well to line above, which it works for absolutely perfectly. Well, I love that look. I will not touch that. That is stunning. I love it. Right, let's see if the other side is going to be as impressive, because I have probably saved my favourite colour. So that favourite colour, funnily enough, is the B3. And this is a sparkling blue with duochrome reflex. This is looking amazing. I've gone a little bit too far out there with that. I'll have to clean that up in a minute. Look at that. Look at that colour. I said this is nicer, this isn't as nice as Cosmos, but now I'm seeing it on the eyes. I don't think Cosmos beats it, you know. I think they're just both as beautiful. I'm just going to go back in with that A3 grey. Let's just go over the bit of blue I got there in the outer V. Putting a tiny bit more and really putting my finger quite tightly to the lid so I can really amp up the way that that looks. Look at that. Look at that effect. If you love sparkles and you love blue, does it get any prettier? So now going into this one, B1. This is a sparkling silver with duochrome reflex. Oh, absolutely stunning. Look at that. I'm preferring this straight away to the Pat McGrath things I've tried from the whole Christmas collection. That's how much I love it. I think it is absolutely stunning. So I'm taking the 15 mini now just to sort of tidy up here in the crease and blend it all together. And I'm going to pop a bit of that silver here into the inner corner using the 207 BK Beauty brush. And I'm going to pop this underneath the brow. Lovely sparkle for under the brow there, I love that. I do actually think, looking at the pink side, that this silver would look nicer in the inner corner here. I'm going to do that, yeah, I think that works better than the pink. And with the Rapha 23, I'm going to go into this dark brown matte. This is C3 and it's described as a deep charcoal brown. So I'm going to use this as a liner. So straight away this is showing up a lot darker than the sparkle on that side, and this will definitely give you quite a lot of depth if you wanted to really smoke out the outer area here. But like with this side, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to bring it up and create a small wing and just line with it, because I don't want this to be a particularly dark smoky look, but you could definitely do that. Well, I managed to get away with pretty much no fallout. I just got a little bit of the silver, so the silver is the trickiest one fallout wise, but it's not too bad. Definitely not as crumbly as this central gold or duochrome, whatever it is, in the spice. So here are my two looks. I've used every shade now in the palette. So we have the sort of pinky lilac and then we have the blue silver. I think the pink with the blue would also look really, really good. Pink, blue and silver, the three together, that would be a really cool combination. Lilac, blue. No, I wouldn't do lilac and blue. I'd do blue, then pink, then silver. That would be a funky look, wouldn't it? One to try another time. I love them. I'll just put some mascara on and I'll be back. So I've gone ahead and put my mascara on. So these are the finished two looks. So here is my pink side and the blue and silver. What do you think? Which is your favourite side? I'm not sure I can actually pick. I think the blue is slightly my favourite, but then I don't know. I like them both a lot actually. I definitely need to do blue and pink together. So I am going to recommend these quite easily. Sorry, Alfie's just joined me in here, so the pitter-patter of feet, he's having a sniff around, sorry. I would have bought these regardless of doing this on YouTube. I love Anastasia Beverly Hills. I was a little bit worried when I saw they were £9 because I do like to have her big pans like the Cosmos, and I was a bit sad they didn't come out with that this year, but I know people seem to be preferring smaller eyeshadow palettes, last choice. So I was worried it wouldn't be as good because of the change, but the change is just the size. So, and for me, I've got two, so I've ended up with both, and they are both really, really, really nice. So the spice I would recommend more of an everyday, but if you go in with that gold one in the middle, you can really take it to an evening special glamorous look. And then obviously you get in these lovely sort of party colours, which you can match up with dresses and all sorts of things. Brilliant for the party season, but can be worn all year round. In fact, both of them can. So these are not just holiday palettes for me, these are all year round palettes. This can be a very sort of spring, summer look as well, especially with the pinks. The blue and silver is quite an icy winter look, but then this one is quite a sort of spring, summer look, isn't it? So you've got all year round with these two. So, and they're not too expensive at all for eyeshadow palettes. So I highly recommend them. I absolutely adore them. Can't go wrong. I love them. Thank you ABH for another winner for me. Loved applying them and cannot wait to use them again. So now to finish off with the lips, I've got these RMS Lip Oils which have just launched. So there are, I think there's 6 shades. No, there's 8 shades. I'll pop a picture up now of the shades for you. So I've just picked up 2. I've got Lily and I've got Elle. And these are infused with bitter cherry seed oil, pressed from the seeds of the bitter cherry fruit. This is a nourishing oil which is rich with antioxidants to revitalise, smooth and condition delicate skin. It also has jojoba oil in it, which mimics the natural oils while creating a protective barrier from environmental aggressors, delivering a tidal wave of hydration, music to my ears. It locks in essential moisture, all while casting a non-sticky, enviable, glossy finish. So that sounds perfect, doesn't it? Non-sticky, but still glossy. So, and the shades look really good too. So I thought I'll just get 2 for now to see how I get on. But if I love them, maybe I'd go back for some more. So I think I'll just swatch the 2 and then decide which one I'll put on today. So I'll start with Elle. So here's the packaging on these. And these have got 5 millilitres in them. This is resisting as I turn it. I don't know, it's just a bit stiff, I think. Very stiff. That's a bit strange. Anyway, not so stiff I couldn't open it, but wow, that is hard to get out. Okay, so the doe foot on that looks really nice. It looks very soft and I love the shape of it. So this is Elle, if I put this on the back of my hand. It feels like I've got nothing on there at all. Let me go back in. So I've gone in and out about 4 times to get that much, so it's not pigmented at all, and you don't get a lot on the doe foot, so not much pigment. That is Elle. I was hoping for a bit more pigment in all honesty, so I'm a bit disappointed with that swatch. And now for Lily. I mean, I thought Lily was going to be a bit bright, but going by Elle, I'm guessing it won't be. Oh, it does have more pigment actually. Elle was really light. So here is Lily. So I'm going to try Elle on and take it off because I'm just curious now, because I've already decided I'm going to use Lily for this look. I'm going to put Elle on just to see if I can get any colour. I was definitely warming up the bottom lip there. So that is Elle. It has given me a bit of colour. I think this is a nice everyday shade, quite a nice sort of spring summer shade. Very much everyday. It does feel hydrating. Definitely not sticky at all. But it doesn't feel massively hydrating. It doesn't feel like I've got a really thick sort of lip balm or anything. It feels like a slightly hydrating oil. It's very comfortable, very pleasant actually. It's just not thick. Just I can see it needing a top up, but it could last. It feels quite grippy. I will put a note actually underneath now to say how long this lasted. So it'll be about 2 hours by the time I'm editing, so I can let you know if I've had to top up with lip balm, because I've got very dry lips and I do use lip balm all day. I don't feel that's given me a lot of hydration, but anyway, let's see how long it takes for me to feel I need lip balm, and I will put that note below for you now. So I've taken that off and now going in with Lily. Do you know what's so strange is it comes out and it's dry as a bone, the doe foot. It's actually dry as a bone, so it doesn't pick up much in the way of product at all. So I've gone back in again. Now it's not, but it's still a bit dry. I don't like this, you know, it's driving me potty already. It just feels like I'm putting a dry sponge across my lips because it's not picking much up. That is giving me a lot more pigment though. It's nice once you get it out, but boy, do you have to go in and out to try and get some on the actual doe foot. Again, it still doesn't feel wet. It's so strange. But building this up, this is very pigmented for a lip oil, isn't it? That is pretty. I like that. So I need to go in and out several times to get enough on the doe foot. Maybe that'll change over time as it's used. I find that quite bizarre, but it's almost like the doe foot goes down and it's such a wide barrel. Is it just not even touching the lip oil? Is the lip oil on the outskirts or something? It's very strange. How does it come out dry? Anyway, very comfortable now I've got it on. So I've got no liner on. I don't really feel I need to actually. So I think that goes particularly well with the pink and the lilac look. So yeah, very comfortable. The only thing that annoyed me was that doe foot. I like the fact I'm getting so much more pigment from this shade, so you can definitely go for the deeper shades in this and get pigment, which is great, or you can go for the more sort of everyday shade like not Lily, L, I keep confusing the two, but Lily is giving me a lot more pigment. So it's good they've got that sort of variety, and it looks very nice, it feels very nice, it's definitely not remotely tacky or sticky. And it is offering hydration for now. We'll see how good and long that lasts. But yeah, I like it so far, so let's see how I get on with it. But this is a first impression. So that is everything for today. Everything I've used today has pretty much been a big success, hasn't it? The foundation has potential for being one of the best mattes I've ever tried. Honestly, I absolutely love it. I did say I'd go back in for a transfer check, didn't I? Now that I've allowed it to dry down. But I can already feel a bit of tackiness, you know, so I don't know, it's a bit better. But there's still a bit there. That was a clean tissue, a new tissue. Nothing there. So it's got better, but then maybe I just removed the residual sort of, but I haven't powdered this area because I was keeping the glow, so had I powdered down maybe it wouldn't have transferred, but when it says transfer proof you shouldn't have to do that. So that's the only thing I'd say is a negative for me, and maybe the shade was a little bit warm for a neutral and I didn't want to go down to that lowest neutral because that looked too pale, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way it looks once it's on, so I'm happy with my shade. I will definitely be using it again. I love the foundation, I really do. It's very, very nice. So today I will probably lock it in with some setting spray, not powder. But yes, when I did my other check-in, I didn't use setting spray and it lasted all day, so it can't have been transferring too much. Anyway, the ABH eyeshadow palettes, Sugar and Spice, love them both as you've seen, absolutely love them. Beautiful, beautiful, especially those shimmers, but the mattes worked fine. A little tiny bit extra work than the highest end, but not much, very, very close to the best. But for sparkles, you don't get any better, you really don't. I adore ABH sparkles. And this lip oil, so far so good. What do you think of everything I've tried? I would love to hear your feedback on all of this. Have you tried anything that I've got on today? Are you a fan of ABH? Do you like her formulas? Will you be picking these up? Hopefully, if you like this one, it will be back in stock because it clearly just went straight away. Everyone wanted it. It is a lovely colour story. So I would, so on some websites, you might be able to register for an email when it comes back in stock. So I would keep an eye out for it and grab it if you want it because it is gorgeous. Really, really hope that there is more stock. And if I see any more stock, I will let you know. And what do you think of the lip oils? Are you going to try those? We've had about 1 million lip oils launch over the last couple of years, haven't we? But anyway, nice to try a new one from RMS. I did promise you I would do the RMS tint, the SPF face tint, and there's been so many things, but I think what I'll do is I've got one more Christmas release still to film. I think I'll just add the RMS into that video so you can see it that way. That'll probably be the easiest way of doing it. So that was the launch prior to the lip oil from RMS, the most recent. It was the lip oil and then, sorry, it was the tint and then this. So this is their very latest. Funny time to release a lip oil though, I would have thought more summer, but anyway, still very good. I'm not complaining. Hopefully it lasts and keeps that hydration like it says in the description. So anyway, that's all from me for today. I hope you found this helpful and I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, please do like and subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very, very much. You know I appreciate all of you very, very much. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see all of you again for my next video. Take care everybody. Bye.